New footage shows this is how Ukrainian FPV drones wipe out Russian troops' new arrival's foxhole in Avdiivka. The war in Ukraine, which has come to something of a stalemate after Ukraine's counteroffensive didn't gain much ground, is in constant evolution with drones being redesigned and tweaked. The conflict has made clear that what happens in the cosumer drone market has implications in the battlefield. While a footage in battle also to show a Russian soldier dodging a Ukrainian drone that's targeting him before it hits the ground nearby and explodes. The 105th Infantry Regiment of the Donetsk People's Republic 1st Army Corps, which is part of Russia's armed forces, shared the video on Telegram on January 14th, claiming it showed a soldier in the corps. It said the soldier lured the drone toward him and then dodged out of its way. However, in the video, the lone figure can be seen standing on snow-covered ground and shooting at something off-screen. A drone then enters the frame, and the soldier tries to run from it. The man then stumbles or dives to the ground, with the drone just missing him. It hits the ground nearby and explodes. It's not clear how the soldier allegedly lured the drone, or why, but Russian outlet Izvestia reported on January 18th that it spoke to the soldier. Per the report, the man said there were 3 drones in the attack, and that one of them gave him a non-life-threatening injury when it exploded near him. Drones are being used in Russia's invasion of Ukraine more than in any other conflict in history. Drones have been used by both sides to monitor troop and weapon movements, to direct attacks, and to attack with explosives. One American fighting for Ukraine previously told that the sheer number of drones in the sky is why the fighting has been compared so widely to the brutality of World War I. He said drones had driven up the death toll and forced soldiers to build fortifications like trenches to try to defend themselves. Footage captured during the fighting has shown Ukrainian drones blowing up a Russian hideout, chasing Russian soldiers, and dropping grenades on tanks. In some cases, drones worth a few $100s have taken out tanks that cost millions. Russia and Ukraine are both ramping up their manufacturing and supply of drones, in a sign of how key they have become to the fighting. James Patton Rogers, a drone warfare expert, told BI that what we're seeing in Ukraine is a new type of warfare, one that is not going to go away just if the war in Ukraine was to stop. What we're seeing here is a feature of all future war. On the other hand, Russian forces are sustaining heavy losses even while they push forward at multiple points along the 600-mile front line in southern and eastern Ukraine, according to recent battlefield footage and casualty reports from Kyiv. One video, filmed by Ukraine's 10th Army Corps and uploaded on the unit's Facebook page Tuesday, showed the apparent destruction of a Russian T-72B3 main battle tank amid intense fighting in the country's eastern Donetsk region. The Morning Hello, as the Corps Post described the strike, was conducted using a first-person view (FPV) drone. The attack prompted a catastrophic ammunition detonation, said the OSINT technical open-source intelligence tracking account on X, formerly Twitter. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry also shared the footage on X, writing that the Russian tank was instantly burned to ashes after being hit by an FPV drone. The OSINT technical account said the footage was filmed somewhere in Donetsk, which since 2014 has been a center of Russia's war against its neighbor. Since the beginning of Moscow's full-scale invasion in February 2022, the region has been the site of some of the most devastating battles. The names of Donetsk settlements like Mariupol, Donetsk, Bakhmut, Avdiivka, Vuhledar, Lyman and Marinka, among many others, have become synonymous with Moscow's devastating war. While fierce combat continues in the area as the war approaches its second anniversary, particularly around the hotspots of Avdiivka and Bakhmut. The current exact location of the 10th Army Corps is unclear. However, the unit, headquartered in the central Ukrainian city of Poltava, is known to have taken part in Kyiv's failed summer counteroffensive in the country's southeast, fighting on battlefields in the Zaporizhia and Donetsk regions. Ahead of the operation, the 10th Army Corps consisted of some 20,000 to 30,000 troops, supported by 200 tanks and 700 infantry fighting vehicles and armored trucks. President Volodymyr Zelensky traveled to the unit's command headquarters in August as its troops tried to push southward toward the occupied city of Melitopol. The president met with Serhiy Perez, the commander of the corps, during the battlefield visit, and Ukrainian forces have largely transitioned to an active defense stance following the failed summer operation. Lacking ammunition, grappling with sluggish or delayed Western support, and with no indication of Kremlin fatigue, the forces are preparing to grind through the winter and early spring. Russian units, meanwhile, are pushing for new territory despite the onset of winter. Moscow's forces are trying to isolate and capture the fortified Donetsk town of Avdiivka while continuing gradual advances around the destroyed city of Bakhmut. Russian casualties are believed to be high. The British Defense Ministry said last month that continued high rates of attrition suggest the degradation of Russia's forces and its transition to a lower-quality, high-quantity mass army since the partial mobilization of reservists in September 2022. On Wednesday, Kyiv said on X its forces have eliminated another 840 Russian personnel, bringing its reported total of Russian losses since February 2022 to 378,660. However, Ukraine also reported 13 destroyed tanks, for an invasion total of 6,227, 31 armored combat vehicles, for a total of 11,579, and 61 artillery pieces, for a total of 9,008. In December, U.S. intelligence officials estimated that Russia had suffered some 315,000 killed and wounded since February 2022, representing nearly 90% of its pre-war force. Moscow had also lost around 2,200 of its pre-war stock of 3,500 tanks.